Shalom, shalom, shalom to everybody. What's going on, y'all? Just giving it a second for the brothers come on in and we'll get this thing going, man. Let's see here. You see here, one second, people. What's good, people? Just getting warmed up.
I want to welcome everybody to the motherfucking Red Room. This ain't a mixtape. This is life. Get 'em. It's been a long time. Get reacquainted with the world famous. You know how on point my aim is. Long range snipers, class shutter titans, chrome piping. In his 300 like Leonidas. Snub in the bubble goose. Riding down the interstate where fiends put the needles in their arm and let them penetrate. Leaning sideways with my fitted straight. The 27's on point. The paint job a New York minute late. Check my Audemars, no clouds in my stones. Projects Reagan, standing by the corner store. 2 Glocks on me, bang, bang, if you want a ball. That was 05, now we balling on the store, screaming out thug life. Belly on your hall. Money, I'm involved with it. Wake up and ball with it. Kobe Gasol with it. Uncut raw with it. Chop bricks, take trips, OT. Before I had a goatee, I used to bag the OC. Yeah, fish scale, nigga. What up, ghost? Again, stashing by the oak tree. Moving by the coke leaf. Drama let the llama niggas like Charles Oakley. Nigga, don't
What's
insult
good?
me.
What's good,
I'm
y'all?
banana boat,
I'm waiting to see some more people come on through.
I'm sitting fat like precious.
Give everybody some time to wake up. I know brothers got things they doing and everything. We finna get it in here real fast.
Nigga, I want it all. Yeah, word to my kids, nigga. I want it all. NASCAR game. Why the fuck would I stall? I'm the franchise, nigga. Chris fucking Paul. Empty out the can and hit your bitch, you the truck and all. Withdraw 200,000 and then fuck it off. King of the hill, got a dime bitch cut raw. She bagged the last nigga, I unzipped, she sucking soft. Black Superman, yeah, I'm a butter law. I put this hollow tip a quarter-inch above your jaw. Eat out a fucking straw. Blindfold your bitch, toss her in the trunk. After the first 48, that bitch smelling like a skunk. It's a rack, I rack when I rack the pump. Throw me in the game module and tell them rack the bumps. The Breakfast Club, nigga, no Captain Crunch. This for my dog niggas that eat cats for lunch. I'm hungry, like I ain't trapped in months. So nigga,
what's good? What's good, y'all? Come on in, y'all. You ain't gotta hide here. Chris or Killer B, come on in.
To my niggas, we all rocked out. What's up, jigger? Sometimes I be in BK with Fab on the freeway, Lincoln Continental, and I copped it off of eBay. I pop sham like it's my beat day. Horsepower under my hood like it's an Olympic relay. My flow right on time, no delay. I raise $1 million, send it off to Chile. I don't fuck with Red Cross. I'm all mad, nigga. EA. I'm in VA. Money talks with Dre and Pharrell on three-way. Them 28s, that's my DJ. They spinning shit. When I took trips OT, I never rented shit. I just dropped and copped, and then I tennis shit. Diddy and Mike X. I'm all about the Benjamins. In it for the benefits. I'll be down at 10 and 6. Tell them give me a porterhouse and some eggs Benedict. Damn, that was good. But I'm still hungry, and I'm living it. I'll be out and finish shit. They say Weezy Jordan, nigga, I'm on my Pippen shit. They say Drake LeBron, I'm on my Mo Williams shit. If T.I.P. is Kobe, then fuck it. I'm Derek Fisher shit. As long as I'm in the starting five, I'ma get it in.
Salute, man. What's going on with you, bro?
I was outcasted, Andre Benjamin.
We're gonna have us one of these tour night breakdowns as we do.
Giuseppe Hills, expensive wines, Paris sale. It ain't tricking, I just spend money on cheap thrills. Big phantoms, sweet wheels. Backseat like a club, making bitches eat pills. Take Patron shots to the purse with chrome glocks. J Electronica, this a dope shot. So I had to steal it, nigga, I had to kill it. I was the turtle in the race, I made the rabbit fill it. Yeah, keep running, nigga. House it by the subway. Fill it through the project. Come through the Murcielago, a foreign object. Number one prospect. The day that I was drafted. After Magmatic, unleashed the fucking bastard.
Peace King, what's going on with you, man? Unmute your mic. Peace King, what's going on, man?
What up, bro?
Oh, man, bro. Cool. Man, cool. Just trying to give people time to come on through. I was going to sit here playing some music.
All right, that's what's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give everybody a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's what's up.
All right, that's cool,
playing the music today, bro. I just know the man. Get to the house and
This is crack.
Yeah, I can already see it ain't gonna work if the music on. You trying to talk to?
Right.
Go ahead and mute your mic, bro. I'm finna turn this music on back on. I'm trying to give everybody some time.
They either snitch or bend over the catch. No matter how you look at it, I hate the facts. Get my bottom of some bucket, I twist the cap. Sit back, watch the NBA playoffs and roll fat dick. Real fat dick. All I do is stack brick in the hood on the wall like a fucking fat dick. 2 9s on your back, one fat dick. This my block, and you niggas can't track it unless you wanna get clapped in. I'm killing niggas. I should have 100 tickets. Celebrate death. Don't stop to the clap it. It's gonna be a coach. Someone come through like instead of bullshit. 25 feet.
Appreciate that, mind's eye. Hey, you know, we just get to see it, man. I ain't been seeing Squid go live here lately. Actually, one of the build with the brother.
How you say catch a cat? I don't trick heroes, I don't trick pounds. I bowling ball bitches till I knock them all down. Like the 90 pop, I get around. Duffel by the staircase, crack by the spectrum. Navigate.
Still there, bro? You still there, bro?
I'm here, bro. Yeah, I'm still here. I just muted out because we got a lot of background noise. Shalom. Oh, Shalom. Okay. Shalom, guy. Hey, you know, I want to make this proclamation too. And for anybody who ever see this and all the people, when somebody's sitting in this block and people don't put you in, it's not because they don't see you. They see you. They just not putting you in. Now you got a whole lot of Israelites doing this over clout. I'm just gonna call it like I said. I think that's because people don't want to hear your side until they got something out. Somebody got some crackling in their background. Nah, but just giving us some time, let some people come in, man. Just some things we just need to look over. I'm finna turn back on the music again in just a second. Oh, I see you, man. I appreciate it. Hey, man, if you talk to Squid or can get in contact with Squid, man, tell him to hit me up. I actually need to link up with that brother on Facebook or something, man. I'm finna put on something different. Hold on. I was trying to just play some instrumentals.
Shalom.
Shalom, bro. Yeah, bro, I was having a brain fart, bro. I forgot, bro. I forgot that the StreamYard, basically since the YouTube done changed it, it's just gonna keep running you around in a circle and that encoder. Like that's all it's gonna do. And I'm sitting there trying to be honest about it, like what am I doing wrong? So I just came to the realization, I'm like, this is just a circle, like it no more, no less. So with that being said, we get some music on. Let me see. Just like I said, just trying to give some brothers a second on some brother name.
Hey, brother. Hey, just give me about like a few minutes and I'm going to jump right back in. Okay.
All right, you cool.
Yo, can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me?
Nah. I can't hardly hear you over the music. Hold on. Now what's going on?
Shalom, bro.
Shalom, boy.
Not much, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, bro, man. Just sitting here, just enjoying everything, man. Just been meditating on some stuff, just for the most part.
Con. Yeah, I know. I'm driving, so I can't. Like, I don't have my headset won't connect to the call. And I don't, my headphones in the back and shit. So I can't.
Hold on, say it again, bro. You kind of, I think I need to turn up
I
my
know I'm
volume.
low. I'm probably low because I ain't got my headphones.
Yeah, you kind of low right now, bro. I thought it was just some music.
Nah, it's my shit. Like, I don't know why it won't connect. My Bluetooth won't connect, and I'm driving, so I can't get to my
Right,
headphones.
right. I dig that. Yeah,
So
man. Just been thinking about some of the recent events going on, man. I'm just gonna say it, bro. Oct and Battle X, bro. They wild, bro. Hey, they wild. I be trying my best
I
not to
saw
laugh,
that.
but they
I saw
really
that
believe
part.
what they say. Nah, what you gonna say? Now, like I said, them dudes really believe what they say, and it's crazy. I tried to give the brother some patience, but I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. My patience done ran out, bro. Like my patience is you don't have to believe nothing I believe, but when you start ignoring the scripts that's right in front of your face, I don't know. See, I got a problem with that, especially if you claiming to be in a problem with that.
Yeah, especially the what was it the Ock dude? He was like well, not the Ock, the True Justice dude. That part was like, yo, he completely ignored some scriptures, like completely.
Right.
And he even
Hey,
admitted that the only name that can save you is YHWH.
thank you. So it's like when you see stuff like that, like it's a clear indicator, like they're reading, but they're reading based on this preconceived notion. And it's like with that preconceived notion, it's like a stumbling. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like I said, when you can see the scripts and you just deny it, that's because you rather believe you would just rather
yes,
believe what you believe or what you read. You see what I'm saying? Or
exactly.
at least try to put it into some kind of mental context. We never denied the the use of the blood and what use it plays. But I think the problem they're forgetting is that that's more of a priestly ceremonial. It's more of a priestly ceremonial ritual that has
Yes,
nothing to do with your salvation.
yes. And they
Con,
don't forget
con.
this part because they say that we don't have a priest, right? So they say that the priest is a Judite, which is Yahweh Shah or Jesus. So they're not negating the fact that, we don't have priests, yet negating so many scriptures if they say that, right? Because there are scriptures that y'all brought out that shows we are the priest. That Hosea 4 and 6 and 7. You know what I'm saying? The Hawashai 4 verse chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. Ye are the priests.
Right. Thank you. And it's like they ignore that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they think being in the truth is standing on the corner screaming, that's right. Like, it's more than that, man.
Yeah.
That's
It's deeper than that, man.
right. That's not
Yeah,
the whole of
that's
being in the truth.
How
con,
did Ross
con.
say it's deeper than rap? You know what I'm saying?
Now, hey, Dave, they'll go ahead and say what you going to say, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Nah, I was
And
just
shalom,
saying
by the way.
con. I was just saying con, agreeing right along with that. But also, this is just me. Like I like when we be saying Yahweh Shai. Man, I hate saying that name. I still hate using that demi. You know what I mean? That demi. It's like putting another term of Yahweh's name, which is what I'm trying to say. Even hate hearing it really, but I just wish our brothers would just kind of control and just stay with His word. Yahweh instead of just mixing it up with any more idols with that. You know what I'm saying? Places in front of your house. But don't believe in the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you just start activating what you read in that Torah, activate that in your walk and daily, and just Yahweh will deal with you. But then I think they know it, but they like you said, they just want the fame. They the big homie out here on YouTube. he putting down people. You feel me? They want to mix all this worldly things into it. But man, when you read from that Bible, man, that Torah, man, it's a spiritual thing that you just gotta just like stick with. That's just my opinion, y'all.
And you know what's so ill about that spiritual thing, right? The scriptures is a spiritual thing. Even Paul tells them that. He says the law is spiritual.
Right, and see that's the thing with them dudes. Like I said, man, it's just very interesting just to see the stuff that they talk about. Like I said, obviously the problem they're dealing with is that when they came, like I told everybody, I firmly apologize. I really feel like the two losses I have on SDVL, which I don't give a damn about, but the two losses I have over there, I feel like it's fueling people to feel like they can come to Tour Nights and just say anything. And they coming over here and they getting confounded. And this is like, man, I just rather be mad than admit I'm wrong. Because like I said, when I showed brother that Second Chronicles 33 and showed him Manasseh getting right, he got right for spilling from, I'm sorry, let me say this correctly. He got delivered from spilling blood, and it said he had did more wickedly than any other nation. And he got right from prayer and faith. And then once he got right and got back in the land, then he started making offerings again. So obviously, I guess we finna have to cut Israel to another portion. It's either gonna have to be the Torah only, the Messianics, and then the blood guys, like because I mean clearly they're their whole own little sect, my guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, like, this is a discussion I had with my lady today, man. She understands it. She's comprehending it. She's brand new, like a few months ago new. Like not even a few months, like a month and a half ago new.
Right. Exactly.
She's
And
grasping this.
I love his spirit. It's always good to see a young brother who want to get out and do what he think is right. That's a good
Right.
thing. Do what he feel as though he's doing the right thing for the right cause. But it comes a point where you have to say you got to humble yourself. Like I give everybody my testimony. Like let's see who's this. Oh yeah, and Shalom, Jeremiah, Shalom, Makaya,
Hey, shalom, y'all.
I
Shalom,
did the
y'all.
mute. Oh, Shalom, bro.
Y'all can
Shalom.
go ahead. I'm finna mute.
Shalom, brother.
Okay, it's my Kia. Shalom,
Man, I just want to, like I said, we're just gonna just talk about some small things, a few things, and then we're gonna get into this lesson here in just a minute. But like I give out my quick testimony. I came in the truth the way I came in the truth. What I'm saying. Of course, it would have been by way of a camp. I came in by way of GMS, Texas and Houston, right? And I was watching all this
Right.
stuff. Like I was learning the scripts and everything. I started. It inspired me to start reading for myself. What I had not even picked back up the book in God years, bro. I mean, straight up. So I'm reading. I start to see the stuff they saying was real, and then it's actually crazy. I came across Judah and another three other brothers from a whole nother page. They ain't got nothing to do with Torah nights or nothing. It's a page called Ezekiel 37. And I seen Judah on there. I seen Lex Will on there. I seen the brother Francisco on there. And I seen the old man on there. So I was like, okay. And I started looking at they stuff all at the same time. And that's when I was like, the one thing I noticed about all of them was that they was pretty much only the Torah. And I was noticing how they breakdowns of stuff was much deeper than the dudes in these camps. So I was like, you know what? I was like, let me start talking to these people, chit chatting. And truth be told, I would have watched Torah Nights almost for 2 years before I ever said anything. So I was watching when Shalimar used to be on doing the breakdowns with them, and then you stopped being on. I watched through all that, bro.
God.
You know what I'm saying? And it goes to show, let that be a witness to us all. You never really know who's watching.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You'll
And
never
if I may
Gone,
add, you know
gone.
what I'm saying, real quick, if I may add, quick comment, that also shows like no matter what brothers go through, man, if something is true, it always comes back into manifest. You know what I'm saying? Like I was starting to follow Chris and Killer B and all them cats. You see what I'm saying? Then I asked them one question and they just spazzed out on me. And I was like, yep, now I know I'm back in the same spot again. I'm in the wrong place. I started finding my way back. You see what I'm saying?
come. I'll praise to your house for that too, bro. Because I had just
Yeah.
because like I said, when I came in, it was a lot of like Tour Nights was basically really still together right at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
I see, I witnessed all the stuff Killer B did in chat. So I seen it, so they can't lie to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. But man, we're gonna actually give it a few more minutes and then we're gonna go ahead and shift gears, man. But I'm just gonna lay out a small premise. What we're gonna be doing today, especially for anybody who's actually close to their books, we're definitely gonna ask, for everybody to pitch in on this. But what we're gonna do today is that we're gonna talk about something that's hard, it's ugly, it's hard to deal with. But it's something we're gonna have to deal with. I think it will help us more in the future. What we're gonna talk about today, we're gonna talk about the sins of Israel. Okay. And we're gonna also talk about specific ones that led to more of our downfall than anything else. Because all of our sins was not equal. We did certain sins that really, really put it on us. And we're gonna show that today. And as y'all see, according to the title, we're gonna go into this tour and we're gonna clearly show we had got to the point to where we was worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. When we got to the point to where we was like Sodom and Gomorrah, it was over. And we're gonna walk through a small little process to show that. If y'all got something to add, y'all go ahead and talk, man. Let me do.
I just want to agree with what the brother was saying a minute ago. If y'all can hear me,
Con.
Gone.
hey, shalom, shalom, Makim, can y'all hear me?
Shalom. I
Shalom,
hear you,
brother.
yeah.
God, I
Yeah,
can
we hear
hear
you
you.
loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to go ahead and agree with what you were saying because I believe it was in Isaiah. It got to a point where the Most High had to tell us. It was either in Isaiah or Yeremiah. He had to tell us. He started talking to us like we were Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, "Ye people of Sodom, and ye souls of Gomorrah." We got to a point where
So I said, now y'all keep it going.
y'all
Just
give
the
me a
brother
second. I
got
want
cut
to.
off.
I don't want to just speak on. I want to pull that scripture out. So y'all can go ahead. Give me a minute.
Okay. And But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. Brothers coming together and brothers waking up and sisters waking up, man, because we are in these last days. Whether we are that generation to see the end and the beginning of the beginning, the change, or not, you know what I'm saying? If we do right now, Yahweh, according to Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? He gets the last say. We'll be saved, if we go accordingly, Just because your intentions is a big, big part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if you say I'm gonna fast today, and then it just slips your mind, you wake up, and then you go to sleep and say I'm gonna fast tomorrow, and you wake up, you go to sleep, wake up, and then you forget what you said. You know what I'm saying? And you start eating. Remember while you're eating, you're like, damn, this is where your intentions come in, because you can stop eating and start the fast, or you can just keep eating and say, well, you know what, I just started. Let me go ahead and finish this. And no, that's itself. You know what I'm saying? It's your intentions and integrity, bro. Just get it together and follow out and follow through with what you spoke. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was aloud or in the mind, follow through with what you spoke. Because we know that that's the difference between us and a lot, not all, but a lot of these demons. They don't follow through with what they speak. These heathens and stuff, even if it's to their self. That's one thing about a liar, man. They lie to themselves, so they have to lie to themselves. They have to get themselves to believe it in order for. So they're already like disturbed. That's why there's a saying: there's more honor amongst thieves than a politician, because we know politicians are known for what? Lying. A thief will tell you, like a thief won't tell you he stole it, but he'll tell you he stole it and put it back. Some thieves will do that, right? For example, if I own a business with brother Vanya, and we agree to go, whatever we make $100,000 a month, and we agree to keep 50% for ourselves and put the other 50% in the building. So that's 25 grand for me going into the business and 25 grand for him going into the business. And then 2 months down the line, I'm like, man, I'm short, and I don't tell him. This is my thoughts. I'm short. I just need $5,000 more to get this new whatever I'm trying to get, right? Instead of asking and going over with my partner who I made a covenant with, right? I go behind his back and commit thievery. And then he's like, we're 5,000 at the end of the month. We're $5,000 short. What's going on? You know, I can tell him one or two things, or I don't know, or well, see, I borrowed the money and I was going to put it back at the end of next month. That's not the same as saying, hey, bro, I need to borrow extra 5,000 this month, and then next month my 25,000 and plus an extra 5,000 that I owe, and put that in. So I'm only bringing back home 15,000, and I'm putting in 35,000. I mean, 30,000. Yeah, 35,000. Excuse me. So basically, what I'm saying is, it's your intentions, man, and that integrity has to come in, because if I if I don't tell him and he don't figure it out, and then I tell him when I do it, that's not the same as talking to him beforehand before I do it. That's what is the word I'm looking for? That's deceitful, and and that's a form of thievery, because I took it without asking, without going over it with my partner, because that's not part of the covenant in the first place to borrow money. That's not part of it. That's something new that you have to mention. You see what I'm saying? So that's where your integrity has to come in, and your intentions, man. You can't. That's why I agree with the fact that there's more honor amongst thieves than a liar or a politician. You know, a liar won't tell you the truth most of the time, but a thief sometimes, depending on the thief, eventually we'll tell you the truth. So, you know,
Shalom, shalom. To the panel, I want to say shalom to brother Vanya and
Shalom.
everything. Shalom, everybody. How's it going?
It's going good.
Shalom,
How
no,
you doing, brother Z?
shalom.
Doing good, doing good. Yahweh Kai. Sh- Shalom, shalom. I got a verse here that I feel like
Yeah,
that that I feel like is right on point with the topic. It's gonna be in Judges chapter 10, verse Judges chapter 10, verse 10. Um, it says the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh, saying, "We have sinned to you, for we have forsaken our God and we have worshipped the Balaam." Then Yahweh said to the children of Israel, "Did I not save you from Egypt and from the Amorite and from the children of Ammon and from the Philistines? And I saved you from their hand, but you forsook me and you worshiped their gods. You worship the gods of others. Therefore, I shall not continue to help you. Go and cry out to the gods that you have chosen. Let them save you in your time of distress." So, our people had a bad habit of attaching yourselves to the ways, to the traditions, and to the idols of whomever or whoever is around or about us. So I feel like that. I feel like that ties into the topic very, very well.
Gone. It actually does, man.
Con, it does. Go ahead, go ahead.
that
Well,
does.
just gonna say, give us up about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and get this thing completely going. But yeah, it does. Like I said, this is gonna be brutal, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know that now. Just letting y'all know this is gonna be brutal. I don't know. Where the other brother go? You still in here? I think he fell off. I think he should be back on. All right, but it's cool. I'm gonna give a brother about 5 minutes. Come back on if you want to be a part of this. I'm gonna get started going. But yeah, we had specific things that we did, and that really damaged us. And Moses, basically, in so many words, we made that covenant. It was binding. Hold on. That covenant was binding, and we took that for granted at a certain point. But what we're gonna do, I see the other brothers back on, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started up now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and go into how our sins was on the level of Sodom and Gomorrah. And this is eventually was one of the starting points of what would have got us kicked completely off the land. And it's a very spiritual aspect about this because if you remember, Sodom and Gomorrah gets destroyed completely. And we didn't get destroyed completely, but our sins had almost exceeded their sins. And how we was basically on that same level. And that's very scary. But I guess we'll start right here. Can somebody get Leviticus 19? Because we need to set this up and we need to show
Somebody get that for me. I was
what the
grabbing it,
sins
but
of
I'm
Sodom
kind of
are.
driving at this moment.
Okay. Well, who's all next to their book?
I got it.
Okay. If you would, bro, can you get no problem, no problem. If you would, can you go get Leviticus 18? And I actually want you to read the whole chapter. And I'm gonna
Okay,
mute
you want Leviticus 18, the whole thing?
the whole chapter. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay, 30 verses. I'm gonna go ahead and start at verse 1. It's Leviticus 18 and 1. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Yashael, and say to them, I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Do not perform the practice of the land of Egypt, in which you dwelled, and do not perform the practice of the land of Canaan, to which I bring you, and do not follow their traditions. Carry out my laws, and safeguard my decrees to follow them. I am Yahweh, your God. You shall observe my decrees and my laws, which man shall carry out, and by which he shall live. I am Yahweh. Any man shall not approach his close relative to uncover nakedness. I am Yahweh. The nakedness of your father and the nakedness of your mother you shall not uncover. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's wife, you shall not uncover. It is your father's shame. The nakedness of your sister, whether your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether born to one who may remain in the home or born to one who must remain outside of it, you shall not uncover the nakedness. The nakedness of your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, you shall not uncover their nakedness, for they are your own shame. The nakedness of your father's daughter, who was born to your father, she is your sister. You shall not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's sister, you shall not uncover. She is your father's flesh. The nakedness of your mother's sister, you shall not uncover, for she is your mother's flesh. The nakedness of your father's brother, you shall not uncover. Do not approach his wife. She is your aunt. The nakedness of your daughter in law, you shall not uncover. She is your son's wife. You shall not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your brother's wife, you shall not uncover. It is your brother's shame. The nakedness of a woman and her daughter, you shall not uncover. You shall not take her son's daughter, nor her daughter's daughter, to uncover her nakedness. They are close relatives. It is a depraved plot. You shall not take a woman in addition to her sister, to make them rivals, to uncover their nakedness of one upon another in her lifetime. You shall not approach a woman in her time of unclean separation, to uncover her nakedness. You shall not lie carnally with your fellow's wife, to contaminate yourself with her. You shall not present any of your children to pass through for Molech, and do not profane the name of Yahweh, the name of your God. I am Yahweh. You shall not lie with a man as one lies with woman. It is an abomination. Do not lie with any animal to be contaminated with it. A woman shall not stand before an animal for mating. It is a perversion. Do not become contaminated through any of these. For though all of these nations that I expel before you became contaminated, the land became contaminated, and I recalled its iniquity upon it, and the land disgorged its inhabitants. But you shall safeguard my decrees, my judgments, and not commit any of these abominations. The native or the proselyte who lives among you, for the inhabitants of the land who are before you committed all these abominations, and the land became contaminated. Let not the land disgorge you for having contaminated it, as it disgorged the nation that was before you. For if anyone, for if anyone commits any of these abominations, the people doing so will be cut off from among their people. You shall safeguard my charge, not to do any of these abominable traditions that were done before you, and not contaminate yourselves through them. I am Yahweh your God.
Con, con.
All
Man,
right.
that's beautiful.
Oh,
I just want to say that was deep. That was deep.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
very beautiful chapter. Can I
And I
add
want
something
to say
real
something.
quick on that, though, brother?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, doesn't that? Hey, that sounds just like what the LGBT community, the community is doing, right?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But they tell us, oh, that's fine, that's dandy. But what it says right there, it says, man, when you be put to death, man, you do any of those abominations, man, you gonna be cut off from amongst your people and all that, man. People just don't get it, and that's why it's just so sickening, and that's the reason why we in so much turmoil in our lives today. That really what got us separated from amongst the people. Then we got our people. We out here practicing the things of other nations. You know, it's sad, but that whole verse, that whole chapter was talking about what these people are doing today. They thinking this gay life is just what it is, but they just don't know they all finna be put to death. And then it's even explained in there. It says when a person is amongst these people, they'll be cut off too. So I mean, that's very scary, y'all. I mean, Keep on playing with Yahweh's words, people. For the viewers and for the listeners, I mean, you got to be serious about Yahweh's word. What if His word says, man, it's gonna go forth and it's never gonna come back void. It's gonna always fulfill what it's set out to do. And with that, I yield.
Okay. You know what? And I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go into this part, and we're gonna actually dispel. We're gonna actually dispel something because we're gonna show and prove the reason why Sodom got destroyed was not about homosexuality. This is a old Christian myth that was a part of it, but homosexuality was destroyed. And to get more
Can I
clarity,
just throw something out there? Yeah,
hmm
not to cut you off, Ak. I don't want to give away any punchlines or anything, so I will just say this. The scripture that we just went through for Leviticus 18 kind of reminded me of the end of Deuteronomy 27, when half of the nation stood on one side of the mountain and half of the nation stood on the other mountain, and they actually proclaimed these words. And then at the end said, if any confirm not all the words of this law to do them, cursed shall he be, so to speak.
that's true. That's true. And
God.
we I said we agreed to all the words of the covenant, so that's correct. And the thing is, the thing from Leviticus 18 that I take is that when you look at it, number one, it lets you know these is the actions of the land of Canaan and the land of Egypt. Then it goes on and it talks about more or less the incest that would have been going on in these places. Then it goes on to talk about, more morality, also let you know don't worship Moloch. And the key thing that it tells you is that from doing these things, you will get kicked off the land. Now,
Con,
as it is
I got
stated,
I got a verse.
go ahead, bro.
It's a lot. No, no, it backs up what you were saying. It's just Judges chapter 10 verse 6. The children of Israel continued to do that which was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and they worshipped the Balaam, the Ashtaroth, the god of Aram, the gods of Sidon, the gods of Moab, the gods of the children of of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines. They forsook Yahweh and did not serve him. That includes all those people you were just talking about.
Facts, facts. And I'm finna go ahead. I'm gonna read this, and we're gonna do is we're gonna build this up. And if somebody would go ahead and hold Genesis 19, and I'm gonna get this first, and this is gonna be out of the book of Jasher, and this is gonna be Jasher chapter number 18, starting at verse number 11. In those days, all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and the whole five cities were exceedingly wicked and sinful against Yahweh. And they provoked Yahweh with their abominations, and they strengthened and aging abominably and scornfully before Yahweh. And their wickedness was crimes. Their wickedness, crimes were in those days were great before Yahweh, and they had in their land a very extensive valley and about a half a day's walk, and in it there were fountains of water and great deal of herbage surrounding the water. And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah went there 4 times a year with their wives and their children and all belongings to them. They rejoiced with their timbrels and dances. And at the time of rejoicing, they would all rise and lay hold of their neighbors' wives and some of the virgin of their neighbors' daughters, and they enjoyed them. Each man saw his wife and his daughter in the hands of his neighbor and did not say a word. And they did this from morning to night. And they afterwards returned home, each man to his house and each woman to her tent. And they always did this 4 times a year. So let's stop. I don't know if y'all understand the importance of the 4 times a year, but that's going to be the four major solstices. So the Christmas, the winter solstice, the Christmas, all that, they was doing this on those days. That's number one, because those are the four main solstice days of the year. Let's keep going. It says, also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods which he had purchased with a view to dispose there. Basically, when a stranger moved into the city and tried to live there, it says, of there the people of the cities would assemble, men and women and children, young and old, and they would go to the man and take his goods by force, giving little to each man until there was an end to all the goods. the owner which had brought into the land. So the whole city will come out and rob you, and they will divide up what they've robbed you for. And if the owner of the goods quarreled or fought with them, saying, "What is the work that you have done, or why are you robbing me?" It says, then they would all approach him one by one, each would show him a little which they had took, and taunt him, saying, "I only took the little which thou did give me." And when they heard this from all, he would rise and go from them in sorrow and bitterness of soul, and they would all arise and go after him and drive him out the city with great noise and a tumult. And there was a man from the country of Elam who was leisurely going on the road, seated upon his ass or his donkey, which carried a fine mantle of diverse colors, and the mantle was bound with the cord of the ass. And the man was on the journey, passing through the street of Sodom when the sun set in the evening, and he remained there in order to abide during the night. But no one would let him into the house. And at that time there was in Sodom a wicked, mischievous man, one skillful to do evil, and his name was Hedad. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the traveler in the street of the city, and he came to him, and whence comest thou, and where dost thou go? And the man said to him, I am traveling from Hebron to Elam, where I belong, and I passed the sunset, and no one would suffer me to enter their house, though I had bread and water, and also straw and a provender for my ass, and I am short of nothing. So he's basically saying, I got my ride and I got food to offer you to stay the night, because at those times when you slept outside at night, animals, lions, they will eat you. They hunt at night and they kill people. So it was very efficient to make sure you got in the house before it was dark. Especially keep in mind, it's not big cities like that. It's more wilderness around. They have a city, but they have a big wilderness around the city. So let's keep going. Uh, and it says, and Hadad, the preventer for my ass, and I am short of nothing. Verse number 22. And Hadad answered and said unto him, all that thou shalt want shall be supplied by me, but in the street thou shalt not abide all night. So Hadad told him, don't worry about the food you want to offer me. I'm going to offer and give you food because you're my guest. And Hadad brought him to his house, and he took off the mantle from the ass and the cord, and brought him to the house, and gave ass straw and provender, which the traveler ate and drank at Hadad's house, and he abode there all night. And in the morning the traveler rose up early to continue his journey. When Hadad said to him, wait, comfort with my heart with a morsel of bread, and then go. So he's told him, make sure you eat before you, I know you're going to spend the night, but make sure you eat before you leave. Verse 25, and Hadad said to him, behold, now the day is declining. Thou hadst better remain all night. Thou hast better remain all night, that thy heart may be confronted. And he pressed him so that he may tarry there all night. And on the second day he rose up early to go away. When Hadad pressed him, saying, comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, then go. And he remained and ate with him also the second day. And the man rose up to continue his journey. So basically, he only intended to spend one night because he didn't have a house to go into. The man offered him to come in his house for the night, and then he offered him to stay the next day. He said, still don't worry about your food. We're going to eat my food. Verse 26, and Hadad said to him, behold, now the day is declining. Remain with me to comfort my heart. In the morning rise up and go away. And the man would not remain, but rose and saddled his ass, and whilst he was saddling his ass, and his wife, excuse me, and whilst he was saddling his ass, the wife of Hedad said to her husband, behold, this man has remained with us for 2 days, eating and drinking, and he has given us nothing. And now shall he go away from us without giving us anything? And Hadad said to her, be silent. The man settled his ass to go, and he asked Hadad to give him the cord and the mantle to tie upon the ass. And Hadad said to him, what sayest thou? And he said to him, that thou, my lord, shall give me the cord and the mantle, made with the diverse colors which thou didst conceal in thy house to take care of it. So what he's saying is when he rode up on his donkey, the man took the mantle, basically what you sit on your horse or your donkey, and he put up for him while he would be in his house. When the man is ready to leave the house, he doesn't want to give him his mantle back so he can ride his donkey. And he dad answered the man saying, This is the interpretation of thy dream. The cord which thou didst see means that thy life will be lengthened out like a cord, having seen the mantle colored with all sorts of colors, mean that it shall have a vineyard in which thou will plant the trees and all fruit. So when dude said, where's my mantle? Dude said you had a dream about this. Clearly, he dad is the finesser. And basically what he does is this is how he robs people. He invites them into his house, and then he invites them into his house, he feeds them, and then when they want to leave, he steals their shit. So many words, okay? In this case, he's not wanting to give the man the mantle back for his donkey. So let's keep going. And the traveler answered, saying, No, not so, my lord, for I was awake when I gave thee the cord and also the mantle. Women are woven with different colors, which thou did take off the ass and put them by for me. Hadad answered and said, Surely I have told thee the interpretation of thy dream, and it is a good dream. And this is the interpretation, therefore. It says, Now the sons of men will give me 4 pieces of silver, which is my charge for the interpretation of the dream. And it says, And of thee only I require 3 pieces of silver. So he's finessing my man. Instead of giving him his money back, he actually told him, You had a dream about this happening. And the guy said, No, I was awoke when this happened. He said, Okay, well, the interpretation of my dream is going to cost you money. He said, I actually charge people 4 pieces of silver, but for you, I'm going to charge 3. Now let's keep going. And the man, and the man was provoked at all the words his dad said, and he cried bitterly, and he brought Hadad to Sirach, judge of Sodom. And the man laid his cause before Sirach, the judge. And when Hadad replied, saying, Is it not so? But thus the matter stands. And the judge said to the traveler, This man Hadad telleth the truth, for he is famed in the cities for the accurate interpretation of the dreams. Now, granted, this dude done finesse so many people, but or has he finessed so many people, or is the judge crooked? Let's keep going. And it says, verse 35, and the man cried at the word of the judge, and he said, Not so, my lord, for it was in the day that I gave him the cord and the mantle which was upon the ass, in order to put them by the house. And they both disputed before the judge, the one saying, Thus the matter, and the other one declaring otherwise. And Hadad said to the man, Give me 4 pieces of silver that I charge for my interpretation of the dream, and I will not take any allowance, and give me the expense of the 4 meals that thou did eat in my house. And the man said to Hadad, Truly, I pay thee for what I ate in thy house. Only give me the cord and the mantle, which thou didst conceal in thy house. And Hadad replied before the judge and said to the man, Did I not tell thee the interpretation of the dream? The cord means that thy days will be prolonged like a cord, and the mantle will have a vineyard in which thou plant all kinds of trees, all kinds of fruits, trees. This is the proper interpretation of thy dream. Now give me 4 pieces of silver that I require as a compensation, for I will make thee no allowance. And the man cried at all the words he did, and they both quarreled before the judge. And the judge gave orders to his servants, who drove them rashly out the house, and they went away and quarreled from the judge. And when the people of Sodom heard them, they gathered about them, and they exclaimed against the stranger, and they drove him rashly from the city. And the man continued his journey upon his ass with bitterness of soul, lamenting and weeping. And whilst he was gone along, they wept at what happened to him in the corrupt city of Sodom. So If you can retain any of that in your mind, the whole city is corrupted. It has very little to do with homosexuality. But some key points in this chapter is one, it said that when people would come to the city, the whole city would one come out to rob them. Then it said the whole city, when once they robbed him, they would all walk around and show him one little piece and say, "I've only took this much." From that point, another man comes into the city, and he's the one who runs into her dad. Her dad basically finesses him in so many words. He finesses him out of all of his stuff. When the man said, "Here, put the mantle for my donkey in your house," he said, "You had a dream." So for dad, his dad is a con artist, okay, and he's done con this game so much that he got the crooked judges on his side. Now, if we would, if we would, can somebody get Genesis 19,
What verse?
verse number 1? Start from verse number 1.
All right.
And as you read, we're gonna put this in context because what you just heard was a piece of Sodom's history. Okay. Now we're gonna put in context this Sodom and Gomorrah scenario. Go ahead, bro.
Genesis 19, verse 1. The two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. Now Lot saw and stood up to meet them, and he bowed face to the ground. And he said, "Behold, now, my lords, turn about, please, to yours. Spend the night and wash your feet. Then wake up early and go your way." And they said, "No, rather we will spend the night in the square." Verse 3. And he had urged them very much, so they turned towards him and came to his house. He made a feast for them and baked myself, and they ate. They had not yet lain down when the townspeople, Sodomites, converged upon the house from young to old. All the people were very from every quarter, and they called to Lot and said to him, "Where are those men that who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them." Lot went out to them to the entrance and shut the door behind him. And he said, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act wickedly. See, now I have two daughters who have never known a man. I shall bring them out to you and do to them as you please. But to these men do nothing, inasmuch as they have come under the shelter of my roof." And they said, "Stand back." Then they said, "This fellow came to sojourn and would act as a judge. Now we will treat you worse than them." They pressed exceedingly upon the man, upon Lot, and they approached to break the door. The men stretched out their hand and brought Lot into the house with them, and closed the door. And the men who were at the entrance of the house, they were struck with blindness from small to great. They tried vainly to find the entrance. Then the men said to Lot, "Whom else do you have here? A son-in-law, your sons, or your daughters? All that you have in the city remove from this place, for we are about to destroy this place. For this outcry has become great before Hashem, Yahweh Akkad."
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Okay. When we look at Sodom and Gomorrah and the context, first of all, like I said, we're building this up. Now, based off the history that we got out the book of Joshua, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah were very evasive. I mean, very invasive. They were very forceful. They was robbers, right? Now notice what it says. And notice how Lot is the total opposite of them. Verse number 1 says, the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. Now Lot saw and stood upon to meet, and he bowed. So one, he's seen people he'd never seen before in the land. He made it a point to go introduce himself. He bowed to them as a sign of respect. And then his face to the ground, and he said, behold, now my Lord, turn about and please go to your servant's house, spend the night, and wash your feet, and wake up early and go your way. You got to understand, Lot knew how this place was. Lot knew exactly how this place was. That's why he was offering them. One, Lot is being a righteous man, so he's acting humbly, he's acting with hospitality, and he's offering them to come in his house for the night. Because Lot knows what goes on in the city. Okay, let's keep going. They said, no, we would rather spend the night in the square. And he urged them very much. So they turned towards him and they came to his house, and he made a feast for them and baked matzoth, and they ate. So Lot has invited them in the house. He's going to fix them food. So once again, this is Lot showing hospitality, because obviously the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, they don't have hospitality, right? And it says, and verse number 4, and they had not laid down when the townspeople, listen to these words, townspeople, Sodomites, coverage upon the house from young to old, all the people from every quarter. Now, we just got out the book of Joshua that it said whenever any person would come in the city, the whole city would come out and mob them and rob them. So clearly when Lot invited them into the house, he knew what time it was. But this is obviously a part of Lot's test, as he's being a righteous man. And as you continue on to the part where we was at, the one thing that disturbs me the most is that when the angels blinded them, keep this in mind, they're looking for a man to rape and rob, okay? When Lot offered his daughters, they said, no, we don't want them.
God.
Right. I'm not saying it's right, but when Lot offered his daughters, they said, we don't want them. So what that tell you? These people was in that mind frame. They could not get out of it. And I'm just going to see, and Lot, I'm going to hit verse number 6, and it says, and Lot went out to them into the entrance to shut the door behind him. So obviously Lot sacrificed himself. He didn't stand in the door. He went outside and closed his door. So obviously Lot has sacrificed himself because he knows what happened. And what he said, he says, and I said, I beg you, my brothers. And he still called these people my brothers, even though he know they wicked. But because Lot's a righteous man, he's trying to give them a chance. And he says, do not act wickedly, because he knows what time it is. And it says, see, now I have two daughters. I have two daughters that have never known man, and I shall bring them out to you, and you do to them as you please. But these two men do nothing, as much they have come under the shelter of my roof. That's what we call, I'm from the South, that's what you call hospitality. If you pick somebody up, you take them back. You don't invite somebody into your house to be shitty to them. Like, that's just how we was raised down here. So, and then look what it says. Verse number 9. And they said, stand back. Then they said, this fellow came to sojourn and would act as a judge. So they basically telling Lot, who are you to judge us about what we want to do to them? So what they said after that, now we will treat you worse than them. So they was going to gang rape Lot. But Lot started to sacrifice himself, and then it says, then they pressed exceedingly upon the man and upon Lot, and they approached to break down the door. So they done basically bum rush Lot. They finna try to do him in. And which is going to stop from the reading, and this is when the angels deliver Lot. Now, like I said, if we look at the history of Sodom and Gomorrah, you will see that this place was a hostile place. They had no hospitality, and obviously the two men who came into the city, they clearly know these men ain't from the city, and they already have the intention of doing them bad. Now, remember, if y'all keep your memory in mind, when we hit Leviticus 19, these rules were forbidden to the proselytes as well. So if somebody can somebody get Ezekiel 16? If nobody can get it, I'll get Ezekiel 16. We're gonna go to Ezekiel 16, and we're going to show there's a tad bit of some history in here, and we've already shown this before, but let's just go ahead, go to Ezekiel 16, and we're going to go to verse 49, and it says, "Behold." Well, you know what? Let's just hit verse 46. It says, "Your sister, your older sister is Samaria. She and her daughters who dwells in the north." Close the door, baby. She and your daughters who close to the north, and your sister who is younger than you who dwells in the south is Sodom and its daughters. If only you had gone in their ways and acted like their abominations. There you go. Take it on. It says, if only you had gone in their ways and acted like their abominations, it would have been a small trifle. But you were even more corrupt than they in all your ways. As I live, the word of Adonai Yahweh Elohim, I swear that Sodom, your sister, she and her daughters have not done as you and your daughters did. Now here go the key. Behold, this was the sin of Sodom, your sister. She and her daughters had pride, surfeit of bread, and peaceful serenity, but she did not strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy. So that's a headlock to all the y'all that Sodom got destroyed for homosexuality. No, Sodom got destroyed for how it treated poor people and people who did not live in that land, who was just trying to pass through. Go ahead.
I just want to say real quick. So it's seeming to me, because I remember at one point, I believe in Jeremiah or in the Lamentations of Jeremiah, he got to a point to say that because of our disobedience and the land throwing us up, he put it as when we're in that state, the law, he said the law or the Torah is no more. We were also called lawless, some of us, in the book of Judges, or sons of the devil. So it seems like, because if y'all's gonna get heated with us for the law being no more because of our actions, then it makes sense why he destroyed them for how lawless they were.
There's some truth behind that, because if you Ezekiel 16 is a long chapter, but if you read Ezekiel 16, the whole chapter, it actually tells you that Yahweh made a covenant with the Amorite. And for anybody who don't know, the 5 cities of Sodom, those are Amorites.
So like in the Old Testament. Yeah, so like in the Old Testament, when the Most High was saying that the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
Yeah, it ain't, man. That's a deep one, bro. Like, man, we was touching on that. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah, because I know that's got to do with the heavenly realm and the council and things reflecting from the spiritual realm.
Oh yes, it has to do with all of that. But see, the Amorites are still alive today. That's why we'll come back. But we'll come back to that. But that's an actual.
Okay, Khan, do your thing, Elder. Okay.
No problem. No. If you can, I want you to. We're gonna just look at some of the wording, right? I want you to go to Jeremiah. I want you to read Jeremiah 23, and I want you to read verses 10 through 15.
Okay, I got it when y'all ready.
We ready, bro. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 10 through 15 reads as follows. For the land is full of adulterers, for due to false oaths, and the land has become desolate, and the pastures of the wilderness withered. Their course is evil, and their might is in, for even the prophet and the priest are insincere. Even my temple, I find their evil, the word of Yahweh. Therefore, their way shall be for them like a slippery path in the dark. They will be punished and fall on it, for it shall bring evil upon them. It is the year of their reckoning, the word of Yahweh. Hey, Salak, y'all give me a minute.
No problem. So the word of Yahweh, therefore their way should be as slippery in the dark, and they will be punished and fallen, for I shall bring evil upon them in this year of their reckoning, the word of Yahweh. I saw fraudulence in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied by Baal and misled my people of Israel. And I see disgrace among the prophets in Jerusalem. adultery, and continuing falsehood. They encourage evildoers so they do not repent, each man of his wickedness. It says they were all like Sodom to me, and Jerusalem's inhabitants were like Gomorrah. You hear that? When our sins had got to the level, and this we're gonna show this again. When our sins got to the level of being like Sodom and Gomorrah, that was it. Y'all brothers still on here?
Con.
Con, I'm sorry. I was speaking. I thought my mic was muted. I didn't know.
Okay. Oh, you good? You good? Um, but there's a few places in here where we're compared to Sodom and Gomorrah. Like we got that bad, y'all. And this would help to doom us actually. And in fact, we're gonna keep going. And there's some here for 15. It says, "Therefore, thus say Yahweh, Master Allegiance, concerning the prophets, behold, I shall feed them wormwood and give them poisonous water to drink, for deceit has spread out all over the land, and the prophets of Jerusalem." So, anybody got anything to add or any precepts, anything before we go shift on to the next part of this?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Um. It was Yeah. It was here in Judges chapter 19. How we got like Sodom and Gomorrah. Pretty much the Benjamites.
Hey, you know what, bro? That's actually a very good point. Go ahead with that, though, bro.
It's right here. It says Here it is. This is Judges chapter 19, verse 18. I'm starting at verse 18. It says, He answered him, We are passing from Bethlehem unto Judah to the foothills of the Mount Ephraim. I am from there. I went to Bethlehem of Judah, and I'm heading for the house of Yahweh, and no man is bringing me to his home. We even have straw and fodder for our donkeys, and there's even bread and wine for me and your maidservant and the boy who is your servant. Not a thing is lacking. The old man said, Peace be with you. However, all your provisions shall be upon me. Just don't spend the night in the town square. So basically, these people, this small family was heading to the land of Judah, right? And it was passing through the foothills of Ephraim. Wait, it says we are passing from Bethlehem of Judah to the foothills of Ephraim. So basically, they was passing through this town, you know what I mean, in Yasharal, and no one was bringing them into their home, kind of like in Sodom. No one's bringing they were in the square, and it was nighttime because they had arrived there at night, and they encountered this old man passing through the square at night, and they were the only ones there, and so he asked them to come into his home. So it's verse 21. He brought them into his house and prepared food for the donkeys. They washed their feet and ate and drank. As they were feeling merry, behold, people of the city, lawless people, surrounded the house, banging on the door, saying to the old man, the owner of the house, Send out the man who came to your house, so that we may know him. The man who was the owner of the house went out to them. He said to them, No, my brothers, please do not do, please do not be wicked. Since this man has come to my house, do not do this disgusting thing. Here are my virgin daughter and her concubine. I will bring them out, and you may molest them and do whatever you please, but do not do this disgusting thing to this man. But the men were not willing to listen to him. The man grabbed his concubine and thrust her out to them. They knew her and they molested her all night long until the morning. They sent her away, and at dawn break, they sent her away at dawn. As the dawn began to break, the woman arrived toward the morning and collapsed at the door of the man's house, where her master was staying until it was light. Her master got up in the morning, opened the door of the house, uh, t- and left to go to his way. And behold, his concubine was left fallen at the entrance of the house with her hands on the threshold. And he said to her, Get up, let's go. But there was no answer. He took her up on the donkey, and then a man got up and went to his place. And then the man got up and went to his place. When he arrived to his house, he took a knife hold of his concubine, and he sliced her body limb by limb into 12 pieces and sent her body parts throughout the borders of Israel. It happened that whoever saw it said, "Such a thing has never been happened." I'm sorry, such a thing has never happened, nor been seen since the day of the children of Israel went up from the land of Egypt to this day. You must contemplate this, take counsel, and speak up. So basically, just even at that time, there was like nothing like this has happened since Sodom and Gomorrah. Like they was even saying it amongst themselves. That was the point of him cutting up his wife's body and sending it to Israel. He's trying to let Israel know, like, yo, we're getting bad. We're getting really bad. Something's really bad happening. Our people are becoming terrible. You know what I mean? You see what's happening to me? You know what I mean? That was him. He was pleading. Like he was sending out body parts to Israel to let them know, like, yo, we're getting as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah. You see, you know what happened to me? You know what I'm saying? And so pretty much after that, all of Israel inquired of it. And it turned out to be the children of Benjamin. But our people had got that bad. I mean, like, look, you know what I'm saying? They raped the woman to death. Like, that's disgusting. So that's what I wanted to add.
Con. You got anything you want to add to that also, brother? Because if not, yeah, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna step into this phase of it. And I find this to be highly spiritual, and this actually okay, let me see. All right, and we're gonna have to cover a little bit right here. Excuse me. And we're gonna now go to the book of Ezekiel. I don't know if I told anybody. As you see, my name on the screen is Yekazakel, so my Hebrew name is Ezekiel. It always has been. I just don't harken on that too much. But let me see. Let me go to the book of Ezekiel, and go to Ezekiel, the 22nd chapter. Now, we really got to pay attention to what's being said right here. This is really spiritual. Let's go to Ezekiel 22. The word of Yahweh came to me saying, "Now you son of man, it says, won't you rebuke the city of bloodshed and inform her of all her abominations? Say, thus said Adonai Yahweh Elohim, this is, O city that sheds blood in her midst, hastening her time of judgment, that fashioned idols within herself for contamination. Through the blood that you shed, you have become guilty, and through your idols you fashion, you have become contaminated. Thus you brought your judgment days near and reached the limit of your years. Therefore I have made you a shame to the nations and a disgrace for all the lands. Those near and far from you will degrade you as contaminated. The word of great confusion. Behold, the princes of Israel, each acted within you for the sake of his own power, in order to shed blood. Father, stop. Don't that sound like all the killing we do to each other? It's talking about the idolatry,
Time,
a big
Con.
time.
focus on how we kill each other. And these are the same sins that got us destroyed back then. See, I want to tell y'all something. I want to make mention of this. Anytime we get onto the enemy's religion, we start to kill each other. And they have not recognized that. When you really start to look through this Torah, the times we was the Baal worship, the Egyptian worship, we would be killing each other the most in them times. Because notice, whenever we had a righteous king, it never talked about how we were shedding each other's blood. But whenever we have a wicked king, and notice it always talks about how much blood is being shed. And that's the same thing you see today. The brothers killing each other, robbing each other. And I want you to pay attention to how he's talking about how Yahweh is making it clear that the killing and the robberies that we would have been doing to each other doomed us. You know what I'm saying? And that's scary because I look out here today. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Verse number 6, the princes of Israel each acted within you for the sake of his own power in order to shed blood. Father and mother, they have disparaged. It says, within you towards the stranger in your midst, they have act oppressively. You see that? Notice what this title is. Our sins got to the level of Sodom and Gomorrah. And what did we say we was doing right there? We was oppressing strangers. This is the same thing that got Sodom destroyed. Let's keep going. Uh, it says they acted oppressively. Orphan and widow, they have wronged within you. My sanctities you have scorned. My Sabbaths you have desecrated. Talebearers were among you in order to shed blood. They partook in idolatrous sacrifices upon the mountains within you. They plotted evil schemes in your midst. They uncovered a father's nakedness within you. Let's just stop right there. Don't that go back to that Leviticus 18? With
Con.
Con, I got a verse right here that ties along to it. If you know, if you're done.
no, no, say go ahead, because we'll hold off. But don't you, I'm just saying, don't you see how we're tying into that Leviticus 18? And what is Leviticus 18? Do not do none of the practices of Canaan or Egypt. And I'm
Con,
telling you, I'm showing you, we was on the level of Sodom and Gomorrah at this point. But go ahead with your precept, bro.
through the various verses we brought out, like, I mean, it's clear that we our people was pretty much like worse than Solomon and Gomorrah. Like most I said, their sin wasn't even as worse as us because we have knowledge. We are the Most High's people. You see what I'm saying? But just like you were saying, it was the princes, right? It was the princes, those in power of our people who were corrupting the common folk, right? You know what I'm saying? Just like when Solomon fell off, he started enacting like bills and not bills, but like laws to where he started putting statues up in the cities and stuff, pretty much making it. He's pretty much like they was making like it said that Solomon was making the citizens practice these idolatrous practices. You know what I mean? Setting these days up, these so it's like making others get involved into it. It's like about one person being a thief and a not just that, like these things happening. Like it was a group of people who went to try to it was a group of guys that raped that woman. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to, you know what I mean? So it's like it's like a lot of our people was just tripping, getting going off and stuff. But the princes, those who empower, just mislead the ones below them. But this is Micah chapter 3 verse 1. It says, I listened, and it says, I said, listen now, you leaders of Jacob and officers of the house of Yasharal. Is it not up to you to know the law? You see what I'm saying? But you hate good and love evil. You rob people's skin from upon them, their flesh from upon their bones. You have eaten their flesh of my people, and you have stripped the skin from upon them. You have broken open their bones, and you have sliced them like which is in the pot, and like meat in a cauldron. Then they will cry out to Yahweh, but he will not answer them. He will hide his face from them at that time, just as they had done evil with their deeds. Thus said Yahweh about the prophets who mislead my nation, who chew with their teeth and declare peace. But whoever does not put food in their mouths, they declare war against him. Therefore, if I shall be a night for you because of such vision, and it shall be dark for you because of such divination, the sun will set upon the prophets, and the daylight will be blackened for them. The seers will be ashamed, and the diviners disgraced, and all of them will wear veils on their lips, for they had no word of God. As for me, I was filled with the strength by the Spirit of Yahweh, and with justice and might to inform Jacob of his transgression and Israel of his sin. Listen now to this, O leaders of the house of Jacob and officers of the house of Israel, who detest justice and who twist all that is straight, who will build Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. Here leaders judge for bribes, and her leaders judge for bribes, and her calling them teach for a fee, and her prophets divine for money. Yet they rely on Yahweh, saying, "Behold, Yahweh is in our midst; no evil can befall us." Therefore, because of you, Zion will be plowed over like a field, and Jerusalem will become heaps of rubble, and the temple will be a mount and the temple mount will become like stone heaps in the forest. And that I mean, I think that pretty much highlights what I was saying.
Calm, calm. And it does, it just it backs a lot of this up because it was our sins and the way we was treating each other. I think this is one thing we ignore a lot. Let's keep this thing rolling. I'm still right here in Ezekiel 22, and I'm gonna start that one again. It says, verse number 10, they uncovered their father's nakedness within you and coerced women among you during their menstrual impurity. Ain't that Leviticus 18? Didn't we just cover that where it said, don't lie with a woman at this time? And then Leviticus 18 says not to
Con,
uncover your father, your mother's nakedness.
con.
And this is literally what was going down in the land. So let's keep going. Uh, verse 11, a man would commit abomination against his neighbor's wife. See that? Did we just get that out the book of Jasher and Sodom? How they was going up to them fields and they was having them big orgies with the men, women, and children. I'm gonna read that again.
God.
Verse number 11. Ezekiel 22:11. A man would commit abominations with his neighbor's wife, and a man would defile his daughter-in-law with lasciviousness. A man would coerce his
Con.
sister, his father's daughter within you. I'm a when I love listen,
Man, I can't. It's you,
go ahead.
in the church house, bro. It's if you walk, bro. It's so many people that been sleeping with each other in the church house.
God.
Brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, nephews, nieces, aunts, uncles, mothers, sisters, dads, papas. All come on now. It's literally like what was the word? It said lasciviousness.
Yes, yes. And but notice, but here go. But I want us all to keep in mind. Notice these are all the same abominations from Leviticus 18. The uncovering of the father, the laying with women on her menstrual, and incest. And just
And this all ties into the practices of those nations that were round about us.
facts. And this is why I said once all sins got on the level of Sodom and Gomorrah, it was over. It was over. And in fact, we're gonna get a precept to prove that. In fact, let's see. I'm gonna go to verse number 12. Now watch this. It says they took bribery within you in order to shed blood. You took usury and interest and enriched your friends with extorted money. Once again, somebody could mute out because you got background noise, but um, ain't that what we just showed in the book of Jasher again? Sodom's history, where they was extorting people with her dad. I'm gonna read that again. Verse number 12, they took bribery within you in order to shed blood. You took usury and interest and enriched your friends with extorted money. You have forgotten me, the word of Yahweh Elohim. All of this ties into what Sodom did. And literally, as we became wicked in that land, we repeated that. Just keep going. Now, behold, I have pounded my hand because of your robbery that you committed and because of your bloodshed that was in your midst. It says, will your heart endure? Will your hands become strong in the days when I shall deal with you? I am Yahweh. I have spoken and I shall carry it out, and I will scatter you among the nations and disperse you among the lands, and I will eliminate your contamination from you, and you will be caused to tremble before the eyes of the nations. Then you will know I am Yahweh. You see that? All this stuff that we was doing, that caused our slavery. Yahweh just told you. That caused your slavery.
God.
Like, and let's keep going. Um, Verse 17, the word of Yahweh came to me saying, Son of man, the house of Israel has become dross to me. They are all copper, tin, iron, and lead in the midst of a smelting furnace, and they are dross of silver. Therefore, thus said Adonai Yahweh Elohim, because you have all become dross, therefore, behold, I am gathering you into the midst of Jerusalem, like the gathering of silver, copper, iron, lead, tin, into the midst of smelting furnace, to fan the fire in unto it to melt it down. So will I gather you in my anger, my wrath, and I will emplace you, and I will melt you down. I will gather you and fan the fire of my fury upon you, and you will be melted down within it, as silver is melted down in the midst of a furnace. So will you be melted down in the midst. When then you will know that I am Yahweh, have poured out my wrath upon you. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, say to her, you are a land that has not been cleansed, that has not been rained upon on the days of fury. There is a conspiracy of her prophets in her midst, like a roaring lion that tears its prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken away Jerusalem's treasure and worth. They have increased her widows in her midst. Her priests robbed my Torah and desecrated my sanctities. They did not distinguish between holy and profane, and they did not make known. You see that? Just like Ezekiel 43, where it says, make known their abominations. You know what I'm saying? Tell them. It says they did not distinguish between holy and profane. They did not make known the difference between contaminated and purified. They hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I became profane among them. Her officers within her are like wolves who tear prey to shed blood, to destroy souls for the sake of unjust gain. Let's stop right there. When we got to the level of Sodom and Gomorrah, it was over. And in fact, can somebody get Ezekiel the 7th chapter? I'm gonna get it. This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse number 5. Well, I'm just gonna get Ezekiel chapter 7. Thus it, and I'm gonna get to verse number 5. It says, thus the word of how can he say, you son of man, you son of man, thus said Adonai Yahweh Elohim. It says, who shall dwell upon the soil of Israel? The end has come upon the four corners of the land. Now the end is upon you. And I will send my anger against you, and I will judge you according to your ways, and I will place upon you the punishment, and I will place upon you the punishment. Wait, baby. I will place upon you the punishment. Children, something else. You'll wait to stop crying to close the door. That's cute. Okay, it says, and I will place. No, it says, I will not spare you, and I will not have compassion, for I will place upon you the punishment of your ways, and the punishment of your abominations will be in your midst. Then you will know that I am Yahweh. Thus said Adonai Yahweh Elohim, an evil, a singular evil. Behold, it is coming. Our end has come. The end has come. It was aroused against you. Behold, it comes. And this is why. Because we had got to that point. We had got to the point to where not only was we wicked, but we was, I see you, Charlotte, I'm sorry. Not only was we wicked, wait, baby, but we had got back literally to the point where our enemies was. Wait, stop. If y'all go ahead for a second.
Bakan. The brother was getting at the he was getting at the point that pretty much Yasharal had become as wicked as the nations we had aspired not to be like. We had become the evil that we were trying to fight against. We had become that lower self, quote unquote, the evil that we're trying to fight against. Yeah, we reverted back to the base state in which we, you know, that we came out of. The Most High brought us out of a distressed state of being, because we were slaves to other people and we were subject to their way of thinking. We were subject to their way of life, subject to like all that. So it's like we just we ended up reverting back to that once we became established in some way. Yeah, like honestly, it really didn't even take us to even get anything. We just fell off quickly. I mean, we fell off right after we walked out of Egypt. So it's like it,
Right.
it happened quick and it happens quickly. So
Okay. I want to finish Ezekiel 22 because it still ties into everything. Shh, hush, baby. It says her officers within her are like, I'm sorry, I was already. It says her officers within her are like wolves who tear prey, who shed blood to destroy souls for the sake of unjust gain, and her prophets smear plaster for them. You see that? They was out. It was Just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, you got the judges who are corrupt. You got so-called seers and diviners who are corrupt. So-called. They shed blood to destroy souls for unjust gain. Her prophets smear plaster for them, and they see worthless visions, and they divine falsehood for them. Just like her dad, divining that falsehood. And they say, thus said Yahweh Elohim, when Yahweh did not speak. It says, the people of the land have perpetuated oppression and robbed loot. They have wronged the poor and the needy and oppressed the stranger without justice. I'm gonna continue to say this. We literally got to that point. Like we was like the new Sodom and Gomorrah, and this is why there's so many places in this book were called Sodom and Gomorrah, because we went off. Let me finish this up. It says, stop, baby. It says, for the needy, for strangers. It says, from among them. Now listen to this. Now tell me this ain't Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen. It says, from among them I saw a man who could build a fence and stand in the breach before me for the sake of the land, so that it might not be destroyed. But I did not find anyone. Oh, where we know that from, y'all? We tore nuts. Where we know that from, y'all? Remember when the angel was talking to Abraham and he was like, can we find one righteous person in Sodom? And that only one righteous person would have been Lot and his family. Remember? We need to get that.
Con.
We need to get that. That's going to be Genesis 18, if I'm correct. Because remember, they had a chance. Sodom and Gomorrah had a chance, but when Yahweh sent the angels down there, that was literally it for them. And I'm going to get that. And that's going to be Genesis 18. And I'm going to start at 22. Well, I'll start at 20. So Yahweh said, because the outcry of Sodom, this is Genesis 18, started 20. So Yahweh said, because of the outcry of Sodom and Gomorrah has become great and because their sin has been very grave, I will descend to see if they act in accordance with the outcry which has come to me. Then the destruction, and if not, I will know. It says, and then men turned from there and went to Sodom while Abraham was still standing there. And Abraham came forward and said, will you also stamp out the righteous along with the wicked? If there shall be 50 righteous people in the midst of the city, would you stamp it out, or rather spare it for the place sake of 50 righteous people within? It would be sacrilege to you. It says you to do such a thing. It says to bring death upon the righteous along with the wicked. So the righteous will be like the wicked. It will be sacrilege to you. Shall the judge of all earth not do justice? As Yahweh said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous people in the midst of the city, then I will spare the entire place of their account. Abraham responded and said, behold, now I desire to speak to my Lord, although I am but dust and ash. What if the 50 righteous people should lack 5? Wilt thou destroy the entire city because of the 5? And he said, I will not destroy it if I find 45. And he further continued to speak with him, and he said, what if 40 would be found there? And he said, I will not act on account of 40. And he said, let not Adonai be annoyed, and I will speak. What if 30 would be found there? And he said, I will not act if I find there 30. So he said, behold, now I desire to speak to my Lord. What if 20 would be found there? And he said, I will not destroy on the account of 20. So he said, let not my Lord be annoyed, and I will speak but this once. What if 10 be found there? And he said, I will not destroy on the account of the 10. And Yahweh departed and finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. Go back to Ezekiel 22 and read verse number 29. And the people of the land have perpetuated. Start at verse 30. From among them I sought a man who could build a fence and stand in the breach before me for the sake of land, so that it may not be destroyed. But I did not find anyone. You see that? When Yahweh was sitting there talking to Abraham, he was basically saying, if we can find 50 people, will you save it? He was like, yeah. If we find 45, et cetera, et cetera. And the number kept going down. When he's talking to Ezekiel, he said, I couldn't find one at this time. This is why, as this is titled, the sins of Israel, we have become like Sodom, and this literally doomed us, bro.
God.
Let me see. And it says, so I poured out my wrath over them and consumed them with the flame of the fury. And I have placed the consequences of their evil way upon their head, the word of Yahweh Elohim. So now, if we would, we're going to jump, stay in the book of Ezekiel. We're going to go back to Ezekiel 16. And we're going to show how the previous people have fell into the same trap. And we've already covered that actually in Leviticus 18, but we can actually see that again. And go to Ezekiel 16, and we're going to start at verse number 15. But you trusted in your beauty, and you became lascivious because of your fame, and you poured forth your harlotries upon every passerby. Let me say this now loud and clear. For people who still, I see Charlamagne, I'm sorry. For people who still saying Ezekiel 16 ain't got no history in it, I'm not going to say you bugged out. Okay. I'm not going to say, oh, my fault, bro. If I knocked you off, please come back in, bro. My fingers slipped. Brother Z, please come back in if I knock you off. We'll go back. It says,
I'm in.
Okay, I see you in Charlamagne, brother Z.
Yeah, I think you might have knocked him off.
Because I was trying to put you in, and I hit the plus button, and then I popped up a negative button real quick. But if you still hear this, brother Z, come on back in. That was my fault. Let's just keep going. It says, but you trusted in your beauty, and you became lascivious because of your fame, and you pour forth your harlotries upon every passerby. Remember, the harlotries and the stuff they was doing in Sodom and Gomorrah was robbing all the people who didn't live there. Anybody who wasn't from there, you got robbed, raped, whatever. But definitely they was coming to rob you and run you out. You know what I'm saying? To be his. So you took your garments and made for yourself heretical platforms, and you were lascivious upon them. And it says, this should not have been and should not recur. Then you took your beautiful objects from my gold and my silver that I gave you, and you made yourself male images and were lascivious with them. And you took your embroidered garments and covered them, and my oil and my incense and placed before them. My bread that I gave you, I had fed fine flour, oil, and honey, and you placed before them for a satisfying aroma. And so it was. The word of Yahweh, the word of Adonai Yahweh Elohim. Then you took your sons and your daughters, whom you begot for me. These you slaughtered them to devour. Was your harlotry so travailed that you slew my children and gave them away by passing them over to your idols? And remember, what's that? That's the Leviticus 18:21, where it says, you shall not pass your children through Moloch. So all we're really just demonstrating here is that we became the same. And from that would lead up to the chain of events that would have us here. And I don't know how much time y'all brothers got, but I want to go to, definitely cut that from Sodom and Gomorrah, and I want to cover this small part in Jeremiah. And this, this was the one that sealed the deal. So we're just going to go ahead and go into this. It's harsh, it's ugly, but we got to. And that's going to be Jeremiah 43. What was that going to be? Jeremiah 42. Okay. This is going to be Jeremiah 43. It says, and it happened when Jeremiah finished speaking all the words of Yahweh, the Elohim, to all the people whom Yahweh, the Elohim had sent him, that Azariah, son of Hoshaiah, and Johanan, son of Kareah. And the arrogant man said to Jeremiah, "You speak falsehood. Yahweh Elohim did not send you to say, do not go to Egypt to sojourn there. Rather, Baruch, son of Neriah, enticing you against us in order to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans to exile us to Babylon." That was real evil. And that caused our slavery. We clearly knew 100% for a fact Jeremiah was already ordained the prophet. We already knew he was upright and correct. And from these actions, we would be here now. So, like I said, man, the sins of Israel is what we really need to get a hold on. It's everybody say they worship the Baal, but they don't look at everything in context. It's bloodshed, robbery, the false oaths, the lying, the perverseness, the incest. It's all the wicked nigga shit that people love to do today. And it just goes to show, we got to really keep a check on ourselves and on our minds, because to fall back into this heathenism, and the one thing that we as Toranites have to take hold and responsibility of is, just like it said, they did not make known to them those things was wrong. Because when the priests go off, the people go off. See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We was just like Sodom and Gomorrah. But if y'all got something to add, y'all go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Somebody can go ahead. I'm looking for a scripture real quick.
Yeah. Ezekiel, I want to say 24 and 15. The word of Yahweh came to me saying, Son of man, behold, I am taking you from your darling of your eyes and a plague. You shall not lament, and you shall not weep. Your tears shall not come forth. Be silent from groaning. Do not practice rites of the mourning for the dead. Do not headgear upon yourself and place your shoes upon your feet. Avail yourself to the lips, and do not eat the bread of other people. That I yield.
Yeah, that's showing like that separation that was basically going to be added. A separation that was going to be added to us because of what we did. And if you got yours, Shalom, you can go ahead. I'm actually just flipping through. But I want to get Ezekiel. I'm going to get Ezekiel 23, 20, 36. Yahweh said to me, "Son of man, won't you rebuke Oliah and Obala?" It says, "And tell them their abominations, for they have committed adultery, and there is blood on their hands. And they have committed adultery with their idols, and even their children whom they bore from me, they passed to be consumed. Moreover, they have done this thing to me. They defiled my sanctuary, and they desecrated my Sabbaths. When they slaughtered their children for their idols, they will come to my sanctuary on that very day and defile it." Y'all understand that? That's how bad we got. We had got to where we was doing the molding thing right there. Not only in the temple, but bringing it to the sanctuary. You talking about you killing innocent children, and people wonder why we got thrust off the land. We got thrust off the land because we became worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, and that was the closest thing to compare us to. Let me see. I don't want to get, if y'all got another one, I want to get another example of that. And it ties into a whole lot of that. I just destroyed old boy with the same chapter, and we're gonna go back to it again. That's gonna be 2 Chronicles chapter 33. Manasseh was 12 years old when he became king, and he reigned 50 years in Jerusalem. He did what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, like the abominations of the nations that Yahweh had driven out before the children of Israel. He rebuilt the high places that his father Hezekiah had broken down. He entreated altars to Baal. He made Asherah trees and bowed down the entire host of heaven and worshiped them. He built altars in the temple of Yahweh, about which Yahweh said, "My name shall be in Jerusalem forever." He built altars to the entire host of heaven and the two courtyards of the temple of Yahweh. He passed his son through the fire and the valley of Ben, the son of Hinnom, practiced astrology, read omens, did sorcery, performed necromancy, and conjured up the spirits. It says he was profuse in doing what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh to anger him. He placed the graven image that he had made in the temple of God, concerning which he had said to David and his son Solomon, "In this temple and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen from among all tribes of Israel, I shall place my name forever, and I shall no longer remove Israel's feet from off the land, and I have been established for your forefather." I want to stop. Notice what he said: "I will never remove Israel again off the land." He said he wouldn't remove us off the land. But guess what? He go to Keto. In Jeremiah 42, 43, 44, when those people who will still have been in the land, when they broke the covenant and they seen we ain't doing the covenant no more, that would automatically put the curses on them. I mean, curses would instantly be activated, because transgressing the covenant and breaking the covenant are two different things. At the very moment in Jeremiah 42, 43, and 44, when we said we want to go do we're going to do the Egyptian religion, and Jeremiah is telling us a lie, oh, that definitely caused us slavery. And that definitely got us up off the land. Not because it's a mere act of Yahweh, because remember, that's the covenant based off Leviticus 18. If you do the practices of these other people, you will get kicked off the land. And when we said we're going to do the practices, that would instantly get us kicked off. So it just goes to show we got to understand that a matter of the curses is sticking to these laws, these commandments, these ordinances. That's a matter of keeping the curses off you. But just like in the case of us in the book of Jeremiah 41, 42, 43, and 44, we would have broke the covenant at that time to run into Egypt to do the Egyptian religion. You know what? Let's get that. And that's going to be Jeremiah 44. And we're not going to cover everything. We'll cover what we need. Jeremiah 44. And start at verse number 2. Thus say Yahweh, Master Legions, Jeremiah 44. Thus say Yahweh, Master Legions, God of Israel. It says, "You have seen all the misfortune that I have brought upon Jerusalem and upon the cities of Judah." And behold, somebody mute out. You can hear you in Jerusalem, and they are in a ruin to this day. There is no inhabitant in them, because the 70 years of Babylon, what I'm showing you is when those people, when let's just call them the Queen of Heaven worshipers, okay? When we would have been the Queen of Heaven worshipers and we fled into Egypt, and the other part was taken into Babylon, the land would have been desolate. Because as we know, we have a weekly period, and a Sabbath. Well, the land had to be purified. So this is why the Sabbath falls on the seventh day. And when the land got purified, we would have been kicked off for what 70 years, correct? Our exile in Babylon was 70 years. So that is what you call the land Sabbath. Let's keep going. It says, "Thus tell you how, Master Legions, God of Israel, you have seen all the misfortune I have brought upon Jerusalem, upon all the cities of Judah. Behold, There are in a ruin to this day, and there's no inhabitant in them because of their evil that they did to anger me to go burn incense and worship the God of others, whom they did not know. It says, they, you, and your forefathers. I sent all my servants, the prophets, arising early, sending, saying, do not perform this act of an abomination that I detest. But they did not listen or incline their ear to repent from their evil, not to burn incense to the gods of others. So my wrath and anger was poured out, and because my wrath and anger was poured out, and it burned the cities of Judah, and the streets of Jerusalem, so that they became ruined and desolate as this day. And now thus say Yahweh, God of Israel, thus say Yahweh, God of legions, God of Israel, why are you doing this great evil? Why are you doing this great evil to your souls to cut off yourselves, man and woman, child and infant, from the midst of Judah, and not to leave yourselves a remnant, to anger me with the deeds of your hands, and to burn incense to the gods of others in the land of Egypt, where you have gone to sojourn, so that you will cut yourselves off. Thank you. So you will be kicked off the land. Because that's the key. When we broke the covenant, the curse is automatic, activated. And this is why the Chaldeans ran us up off the land. And I don't know, maybe we might go into, but we can go into Habakkuk. Well, Habakkuk is calling the Chaldeans down to come get us because we have become so evil. Like, there's so many words, when Yahweh puts it on the prophet to start making them prophecies, things start to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahweh told you, I will send you all this by the mouth of the prophet. So when Habakkuk started calling for the Chaldeans, it was over for us. And this is why we fled up out of it. Let's just jump down to verse number 15. They answered Jeremiah, all the people who knew that their wives had burned incense to the gods of others, and all the women who stood in the great assembly, and all the people who dwelt in the land of Egypt and Pathros, saying, concerning the word that you have spoken to us in the name of Yahweh, we do not listen. Rather, we will indeed to continue to fulfill everything that came forth from our mouths, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and pour out libations to her as we did, and our forefathers, and our kings and our officers in the city of Judah, and the streets of Jerusalem. When we were sated with food, we lived well with no misfortune. You see that? You see that? We literally told Yahweh, told Jeremiah, when we was living in Egypt, we was getting treated better and we had more. But we was in bondage there. That's that niggatron attitude that some of us can't shake off. Let's keep going. For ever since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her, we have lacked everything, and we have perished by the sword and by famine. Right? See that right there? That couldn't be further from the truth. We was right there in Jeremiah's face, lying to him. You know what I'm saying? Already done fled back into Egypt. And that right there, that caused our slavery. Because we see we ain't doing the covenant no more. Let's go down to verse number 24. Jeremiah said to all the people, especially to all the women, it says, hear the word of Yahweh, all of Judah, who are in the land of Egypt. Thus say Yahweh, Master of Legions, the God of Israel. You, okay, hold on, show them out. Okay. It says, hear the words of Yahweh, and this is Jeremiah 44 and 24. That says, Jeremiah this said to all the prophets, especially to all the women, hear the word of Yahweh, all of Judah, who are in the land of Egypt. Thus say Yahweh, Master of Legions, to the God of Israel. You and your wives have spoken with your mouths and have performed with your hands, saying, we will surely fulfill our vows that we have vowed to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and to pour out libations to her, and indeed to continue to fulfill our vows and to carry out our vows. That was a no-no. That was evil. And as we look around today, we paying for that. So, and like I said, I don't want to make this one in such a negative light, but I mean, we have to make it in the light to what actually happened. But I'm gonna get two more. I'm finna get two more precepts, and this is gonna shed a bit of hope and a bit of light. But we gotta understand what we did. Like we went off like to a great degree. And let's go. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 4, and then I'm gonna jump into Hosea, and I think we're gonna probably end this. You ain't got nothing you want to add. Let's see. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy, the fourth chapter. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27. Yahweh will scatter you among the people, and you will be left few in number among the nations, where Yahweh will lead you. There you will serve the gods, the handiwork of man, wood and stone, which do not see, which do not hear, which do not eat, which do not smell. From there you will seek Yahweh your God, and you will find him if you search for him with all of your heart and all of your soul. When you are in distress and all these things have befallen you, at the end of the days, you will return unto Yahweh your God and hearken to his voice. For Yahweh your God is a merciful God, and he will not abandon you, not to destroy you, and he will not forget the covenant of your forefathers that he swore to them. So you have the opportunity to fix your situation. Your forefathers might have messed up, but just as we learned in the book of Jeremiah, he prayed for people and our forefathers. So you need to pray for the forgiveness of your forefathers as well and yourself. But you have the ability to fix yourself. And I guess, praying for repentance for your forefathers, that could be, you know, let me just loosely say this, that could be trying to atone for your old bad karma, and loosely paraphrasing that. But I want to go to the book of Hosea. We're gonna finish this up right here, and this is for a better hope because we did a lot of bad stuff, but there's always hope, grace with Yahweh. So this is gonna be Hosea chapter 2, verse number 1. Yet the children of Israel will be like the sand of the sea, which can neither be measured nor counted, and it will happen that in the place of their exile, where it was said to them, "You are not my people," it will be said to them, "Children of the living God." So you have a chance to fix yourself. There is no excuses about it. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't got nothing to add, but that's all I have for this one, man. Shalom, are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm still here. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
what's up? You got some words you want to add, brothers? If not, we're gonna go ahead and close this thing on out, man.
Yeah, I get my closing statements in, man. I'm driving. I would get the scriptures. I don't know it off the top of my head, but
Hey, just make sure you speak up for the other people to hear you as well.
Kai. So yeah, I just want to say, man, we got to do better, man. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with doing better. That don't always mean you're doing bad either. You can always do better. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to keep in mind that you can do better. You can excel. You know, and and at the same time, it's gonna sound contrary, but know your limits. You know what you can handle, what you can't handle. You know what I'm saying? Find out your weaknesses so you can turn them into strengths, so you can strengthen them. Find out your strengths so you can improve them. Yahweh gives us all a natural gift and something we're all gifted and strong at naturally. You know, um, so my best advice is that just because it's naturally for you or naturally gifted, that don't mean you don't have to improve it or you can't improve it. There's a reason you're naturally gifted in whatever you're gifted in. It's for you to improve in that field, right? So, and also with your weaknesses, therefore you to be humble, to remind you that hey, I don't have it all. This is why we need each other. Because where I'm weak, someone else is strong. Where I'm strong, someone else is weak. You know what I'm saying? So With that, man, I just want to say all praises to the Most High for our mother wisdom, man. And we are children of understanding. That's who we are to be. So, with that, keep the Torah, keep your Howard first. Everything else comes second. You know what I'm saying? And Yahweh Akkad.
I'll praise you, Hal, for that. I just want to say, I'll praise you, Hal. I guess my closing words are going to be we have to look into the past so we don't repeat it. No pun intended, but that's obviously the truth because, as we can see, as we went off in our time, we would literally just become like the people who was there before us. And obviously, we need eyes to see because that doomed them. Why do we think it's not going to doom us? And at this point right here today, you have a chance to get yourself right. You have a chance to make it right with Yahweh. So until you die, you have a chance to make that right. And brothers, we not perfect, but we trying our best basically to hold this torch and keep this thing going and moving. And like I'm gonna say it my last time to solidify it, just because it's in the title. When our sins got to the level of Sodom and Gomorrah, it was over. It was just a matter of time. And when we broke the covenant, curses come at them automatically. So
Immediately.
right, and breaking the covenant, oh yeah, curses activate immediately. Because transgressing the covenant is one thing, but breaking it, that's something totally different. And just as we said, we had got to the point to where incest, robbery, murder, a corrupt government. We became that city of blood. Sacrificing children like they was into all the wickedness. And this is why I tell brothers, hit that Genesis 18 again, hit that Ezekiel 22. And you're going to clearly see Yahweh said when at that day in Ezekiel's time, he said, I couldn't find one righteous person in the land when he was talking to Ezekiel. So obviously, and he wasn't even in the land. He would be in Babylon. So, he just still said, I can't find one righteous person in the land at this time. Obviously, this is why he was raising up prophets. Because people went completely off. So, just want to, man, throw that out there, man. We got to know our history. And just want to say all praises to Yahweh. Unless you got something else you want to add, bro, we're gonna go ahead.
One quick comment, man. Something I'm working on, Look back at our past, and I get embarrassed, but sometimes it takes the future just to see errors, man. So I just want to throw that out there.
Man, I totally agree with that because once you come into the truth, you start looking back on your life on all your niggatron shit, and you be like, I used to do that. Like, you disgusted with yourself. That's like Ezekiel 40, where it tells them, let them be ashamed of their iniquities. You can't be ashamed of it if you ain't know you was doing wrong.
Yes, sir. Hey, remembering that Apocrypha, what does it say? A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. It's not Israel referred to as a woman.
Facts.
So that can go, you know what I'm saying? That could be a nationwide thing, that scripture there.
Facts. And it just, like I said, it shows a lot, because we have to be upright. We can't be, I got one scripture for that. We have to be upright. We can't be earthly, worldly, you know what I'm saying? Because it takes away from our stock. It takes away from what we have. And I want to get a verse that actually ties into that. And that's going to be Exodus 11 and verse number 7. But against all the children of Israel, no dog shall wet his tongue against neither man nor beast, so that you shall know that I, Yahweh, have put a difference between Egypt and Israel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is, man. A dog is gonna be an animal lower to the ground. Just like, and that's also the reference to when we walked out of Egypt, and we got to that lake, and when we went to go drink our water, They was like Moses was like anybody who bends down and drinks like a dog, like you can't keep walking with her because you already at that.
Yes,
What's
sir.
saying you gotta act like a person around here, not an animal. It just shows that leaning down to drink with your mouth, it shows that earthly carnal aspect of yourself. You know, it's like how the
Hey,
brother Judah. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, man, what's you gonna be doing in 30 minutes? Because I got something I want to ask you. It's a totally different topic.
Oh man, I'll be doing nothing, bro. Just hit me up, man.
I
I'm on
hit
my
you up.
next lesson, to be honest.
All right, I hit you up in 30 minutes. After, you know what I'm saying?
All right, Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh, Shalom.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna close this on down. But like I said, the sins of Israel, us getting on the level of Sodom and Gomorrah that would have destroyed us. I hope we can take a further look at these scriptures and get better understanding and know that the scriptures always ascertain and entertain two and threefold meanings. So we must search the scriptures on a deeper level and not just the surface. As the brother Judah says, if you want to find gold, you must dig. With that, I want to say halala wa yah, praise Yahweh on my soul. Shemaiah Yashar, Hey Elohim Yahweh Ka, hear O house of Israel. Our Lord God is one. And say Kahala Yahweh. Yahweh is the great and the only. Shalom.